Hi, I'm David and welcome back to DeliBytes. If you've hired us to shoot a project for you and we're not editing it, we're going to be supplying you with raw footage. That is the files that we've pulled directly out of the camera, done absolutely nothing to, and just handed directly over to you. If you've not really seen raw footage before or you're somewhat inexperienced with it, I was just going to clarify a few things about what raw footage is and what to expect today. Okay, so first thing to remember is that raw footage is not a finely cooked steak, it's a giant slab of beef. It's really just the original piece of marble that you're chipping down from, and it's not refined at all, and it might not exactly be what you expect. So raw footage can be a whole variety of different files depending on what the camera that has been used shoots to. And so that means that most of those files probably won't be able to be played back in just a regular video playback app that you have on your phone or on your computer. A lot of them are quite specific and some of them are massive. So you'll find on most standard consumer computers you won't actually be able to watch it back, or it's going to play back strangely with errors and things like that. So it really is something that is meant to go straight into editing software and not really be reviewed by just any average Joe with a computer. So keep in mind, if you want to review it, you really do need to have the right tech and you need to have somebody guiding you through it hand in hand. The other thing to keep in mind, particularly if you're doing a particularly visual project and it's not a lot of interview content, is that an editor is likely only ever going to use about 5% of what is shot in the day. So that means 95% of what has been shot is kind of going to be garbage. And so sometimes people will watch that back and freak out thinking that they've got this terrible video that they don't know what to do with it. Keep in mind that the cameraman, whenever he's lined up a shot that he wants to get, has to steady the camera, start rolling, find focus, adjust the iris, do a whole bunch of stuff, and then we'll probably only get about 2 or 3 seconds of good footage that they're going to pick out, and then there might be the camera moving away or something like that. So there's going to be a lot of trash on either side for that little gold nugget that's actually going to end up in the edit. So really don't freak out if you don't think the quality is high enough. If every single shot's wildly out of focus or overexposed, then you're in trouble. But if things are wobbly or don't seem as professional as you would imagine, that's fine because raw footage is raw. It is little bits and pieces that are getting picked out. So if you do get your raw footage back and you're the one reviewing it and it all seems a little bit scary and maybe beneath the standards that you have, keep in mind this is for a trained editor, somebody who knows exactly what they're doing and is going to be working with it the way that it's supposed to be used. So don't panic, give it to somebody who knows what to do. If they have a problem, then it's definitely worth considering chatting to people, but otherwise just take your footage, give it to your editor, they're going to sort you out. Also, keep in mind that raw footage is just basic color and image information. So keep in mind that things like contrast, saturation, and color settings are all added at the very end of an edit in the grade, along with additional touches like frame rate conversion and a whole bunch of other technical stuff. And finally, I'll very quickly address that there is a file type called RAW, that is RAW in all caps. Unless you're a professional editor, you don't need to worry about it as they're very technical, very unwieldy files. To wrap things up, raw footage can be a little bit complex and it might not look exactly how you'd imagine it in your head. The best approach is always to take that footage and just give it directly to a professional video editor. They're the ones who are going to know what to do with it. I hope this has been helpful. If you do have any questions, let us know in the comments section below. Otherwise, get into touch with us on delyagency.com.